Welcome in to House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Victor Producer, and joining me as always is Gilbert Manzano, who does it for Sports Illustrated MMQV. Gilbert, not the game that we all expected, but I'm sure Ram fans are really happy about the Rams, needing four field goals to sweep the San Francisco 49ers, the first time under in the Sean McVay era. So, yeah, they go 2-0 against the 49ers.
Yeah, a little bit of a snoozer game, not the most exciting game, but a lot occurred in this game, and a lot's going to happen in the aftermath. Well, one, the Rams sweeping the 49ers, like you mentioned, in the first time in the McVay era. I think the first time since, or maybe 2018. I forget what year it was, but it's been a long time since they've done this. And, you know, the 49ers season being over is kind of a storyline too, but that's kind of in the back of our minds because we're trying to process how do both teams with good coaches offensively, that is Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, not score a touchdown, all the punting, things like that. So it was a weird game that we could break down, and also a weird game. We're like, I think that's it for the 49ers, and I'm sure Rams fans will take enjoyment in that and ending their season there. I don't think they're going to come back from 6-8. The Rams are 8-6 now. They're still chasing the Seahawks there. So, it felt like a game that you just needed to win to have your playoff hopes alive and just get rid of the 49ers, shut down their Super Bowl window. And this is not the show to do it, but I'm starting to lose faith in Brock Purdy when it comes to paying that guy. That was a terrible interception, but that was good on Darius Williams to get the interception there. Great play calling from Sean McVay. He stuck to the run. How about that? Patience with the
Yes,
running game, killing
yes.
the clock in the fourth quarter, getting some momentum there in the third quarter. So, yeah, not the prettiest game for the Rams offense. And it's funny, we kept saying after the Bills victory, yeah, you want to be more of an explosive team. You can't, count on the young defense to bail you out. Well, they did it today, and it
Yeah.
worked out. It was good complementary football on both sides. So, and special teams too, making those field goals for Josh McCarty. All around a nice victory for the Rams here.
Yeah, I mean, you go from both of these teams scored a season high, Gilbert, last week on Sunday versus the Bears and Bills, right? The Rams scored 44 and the 49ers scored 38. And now all the scoring comes via six field goals from their kickers. So, and as you said, first time in 151 games that the 49ers and Rams don't score a touchdown in the same game. I mean, six field goals. The first half was pretty ugly, as you said. I know a lot of people were, kind of making fun of the fact that a little bit of light rain for both of these West Coast teams seemed to affect their offense as they combined for 11 punts in the first half, tying the Jets and the Broncos in week 4 for the most punts in a half. So, not a pretty game, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that the Rams come away with the victory. And I'll say this, Gilbert, as I'll touch on this in terms of I thought the key, or the I guess the key to this game, or where this game kind of turned for the Rams, was that drive in the third quarter where they tied the game with the field goal. They went on a 17 play 65-yard drive, and 9 minutes and 45 seconds came off the clock. And I think by then the 49ers defense was just gas. And as you said, Brock Purdy throwing that interception, and then the Rams getting the ball back and driving again, and they did it through running the ball. You had Kyron Williams with 29 carries for 108 yards. I thought that was huge. Committing to the run in this game, especially on a short week, was huge.
Yeah, I thought on that drive in the third quarter, the one you're talking about with the 17 plays, 9 minutes and 45 seconds killed off the clock. That was good coaching by Sean McVay. And at some point, you gotta realize, okay, it's not gonna be the high scoring game that you had at SoFi Stadium 5 days ago against the Buffalo Bills. Like they got that one deep shot to Puka Nakua to start the second half. That was great there, but it
Yep.
wasn't gonna be that type of game. It was gonna be bombs away. Actually, the Cooper Cup get a catch here. I don't even remember his name being called. Cooper Cup, 3 targets, no catches. So there you go.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. So no catches. So at some point,
I
you got to be like, okay, just kill the clock, keep getting yards, get first downs. No first downs almost in that entire first quarter. They were scoreless pretty much for the entire first half until the final minute. They're getting 3 points there. So At some point, you got to say, all right, this is the game that we're going to have. Let's be better at this type of game. If you want to have a kind of the slow style, rain football game, punt fest, whatever, then run the football. We're committed to the running game. If you want to kill the clock on the amazing 4-minute drive at the end to kill the clock, getting a third down pass to Kobe Parkinson, things like that. You just need 4 or 5 yards. Here you go. Move the chains, kill the clock. And they did that better. Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, they couldn't get a scheme going for them to get the ball rolling. At one point, Victor, they just said, Deebo Samuel, get the hell out of the way. We can't give you the ball. We can't figure out how to
Yeah.
get in here. We can't scheme you up. Let's go to Juwan Jennings. Let's go to George Kittle. Even Ricky Pearsall got in the game. And I think Brock Purdy got a little too antsy and threw that pick in double coverage. It probably could have been triple coverage too if the play was developing a little more. But it was bad. They lost their patience, and the Rams did not.
Yeah, and I mean there was a lot to in that second half where I was really impressed with what McVay did. I mean, he just outcoached Kyle Shanahan, which is this is part of the reason why they swept the 49ers, which is crazy to say because for the longest time it seemed like Kyle Shanahan just continued to outcoach McVay. But in this one, I mean, and a big shout out to Chris Shula too, man. Like sending a couple of rushers there at the end on while they went try to go for the Hail Mary. I never understand people who just sit back and lose a game. I love that call by Chris Shula there by attacking instead of trying to prevent a Hail Mary. So I thought that was huge too. But to your point, I thought Sean McVay did a great job. I know we've been critical of him. I think the only thing I can say in terms of his play calling or I guess something that he didn't do, I wish he was a little bit more aggressive, kind of like what we saw against the Bills, but he played it safe. And, there's nothing bad with playing it safe. I just hope him not going for it on one of those fourth downs when he kicked the field goal. I hope this doesn't come back to hunt him because the 49ers can get the ball, drive down the field, which they almost did until they intercepted the ball there by Brock Purdy.
Yeah, usually I'm against playing it too safe in the red zone and not going for it. But I think Sean McVay had a good pulse on this game. Okay, he felt like, okay, the defense is doing a good job. And sometimes that gets you in trouble when you're relying too much on the defense. But I think, like you mentioned on that third quarter drive, it felt like they were getting something going. There was some rhythm there to know, hey, if we have to come back down the field again, I think we could do it here to at least get a field goal. Let's trust our defense one more time. And it paid off. And you're right. Give Chris Shula a game ball. I'm sure he'll get one from Sean McVay. Also, Kobe Turner, what a couple of weeks now, from being on the Masked Singer to balling out on prime time, having 2
Yep.
sacks. He definitely made his presence felt. He impacted the game there. This is the Kobe Turner that I've been expecting, pretty much on a weekly basis. And it's been a good season for him, but I expected a little more because he was such a good rookie. But he really showed out for his teammates there. I think they only got 3 sacks there, but Kobe Turner, I think, really pushed the pocket and was big on that. And then, it never really felt like a game where the linebackers were an issue for the Rams, even the DBs there. So that was good to see. Some of these weaknesses, man. If you just create some push there, you're able to be flexible. You can make adjustments there. So I was okay with not being too aggressive in the red zone. You got the running game there. It just wasn't going to be the night where you really push the ball down the field. I did not like that play call though, where they gave Matthew Stafford the ball and he got hit. He took a lot
Yeah.
of hits to the helmet, by the way, today. I don't know what the heck
Yeah.
happened there. If I'm going to be critical on the offense, but I'll focus on the defense, man. That was pretty impressive there. But also on the 49ers side, it was going to be a tough game because they got Nick Bosa back. Dre Greenlaw was back. I saw Ward out there. So they were pretty much complete there.
Yeah.
I know Greenlaw had to step out a bit. I don't know. I forget about Warner. I think he was back in after a little bit of an injury there, but they were pretty complete too. So you kind of knew it's going to be a tough burner. But I don't want to forget about the defense, man. They really held it down in that first half when nothing was clicking for the offense here for the
Yeah.
Rams. They held it down, and luckily the offense came through at the end.
Yeah, I don't know how much we can say about this defense who held a Kyle Shanahan offense to his second lowest total yards as a 49ers coach to 191. They were at 197 and then they got the sack, which, it went back down to 191. So Yeah, I mean, really impressive from the defense, and then the offense, of course. I think they did enough to win this game, especially with a lot of those long drives. I thought a lot. Another thing was I thought I saw that stat where the 49ers defense had allowed some ridiculous amount of red zone touchdowns consecutively. And then, of course, the Rams went into the red zone and could not get a touchdown there. But, what matters is that they got the points, they took the points there. And then uh, another thing, Stafford finally got to 5 games without throwing an interception,
Hey.
Gilbert. Another game without allowing a sack. So, I mean, there he's not only managing, but he's also protecting the ball, which is a really big thing, and I think that was a big part of it too, like not giving the ball away to the 49ers.
Yeah, he got lucky a couple of times on some tip passes here and there. So the ball was bouncing their way, and
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to have the Brock Purdy discussion, but I think his offense, or at least his skill players, let him down in the first half, or even 3 quarters, because they were dropping passes. So it was kind of a so-so game for both quarterbacks, but obviously one protected the football. And then when Purdy got too antsy and impatient, he forced that ball to Jawan Jennings, and that was pretty much a game right there on the interception there. So yeah, you definitely want to protect the football there. But that's where guys like Matthew Stafford, Yoko is rely on, because they're well experienced. They kind of know how these tight games are being played. So, I'm gonna just give a couple more 2 cents on the Brock Purdy thing. I don't want to
yeah.
overreact too much. I hate when people overreact off of
Yeah,
one
let me
game.
let me put this comment up because from Andres, he says, "Do you guys think there's a serious argument for the Niners not to pay Brock?" And we'll get to everybody's comment. Don't worry, hang in there. But we wanted to touch on this since we're now talking about the 49ers here.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm there to say serious, but I think there has to be something where, like, okay, if Brock Purdy really wants to be paid $60 million per year, and you want to surpass Dak Prescott, and you want to be the one next in line here, maybe this is a good time for the 49ers to say, you know what, I don't think we're going to go there. You're a good quarterback. We'll pay you this amount. They also have some leverage because he's a seventh round pick, the last pick in the 2022 draft. We're like, I know it's not the same situation, but remember when Jordan Love had to prove himself and they gave him like a 2-year extension? How about
Yeah.
something like that where, hey, you get your money now, you get your protection. You don't have to worry about playing the 4th year and us fighting here for a franchise tag in the 5th year. Get some money now. It won't be as high as that, but hey, 30, $40 million per year. Give us some flexibility here. So he's not playing at $60 million per year level, but we know the market, we know the game. If you're next in line, you're going to get paid. And he's worthy of being next in line in terms of these kind of stipulations here for quarterbacks, but he's just not. Actually, I don't like any of the quarterbacks when it comes to Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence. I like Jordan Love, but the guys who are being paid right now, they shouldn't be ahead of Patrick Mahomes and other, even like Matthew Stafford, man, who was pretty good today. So there's an argument to be made that the system is broken, but I think the 49ers got to think about, hey, all right, you also got to find a new core group. You got to also find new players. You got to get younger. You got to go through the draft here. So I'm gonna say I think the 49ers are dead here. You're not gonna make a playoff push here. So look. I mean, you don't want to look at the rival here, but look at the Rams. They reinvented themselves. They got more draft picks. They got younger at every position. That defensive front, man, that is masking so many issues at linebacker, masking issues in secondary. When you got a front to create a push at the pocket, it makes life easier. Nick Bosa doesn't have enough help out there. Like Leonard Floyd's not gonna cut it out there. So you can't be paying a lot of older defensive tackles either. So they got to try something new here. Get younger, get some draft picks, but you can't lose Brock Purdy either. So they got to meet in the middle. They got to maybe talk about it, but I don't think $60 million is the answer here.
Yeah, I know a lot of Ram fans would love for them to spend, max out on Brock Purdy, so that way they don't have the other guys to pay. Because I think it helps the Rams' cause if that's what they decide to do. I think if they end up paying Brock Purdy the 60 million, that just pretty much means that they're gonna gut that roster. They're gonna have to anyways.
I
I
think,
mean,
yeah, I think that regardless, it should.
I've already heard Javon Hargrave's name. They're planning to release him. Yeah, he's
Debo
gone.
Samuel too. I don't even
Yeah,
think you should resign guys like Ward, maybe Ufanga, but he gets hurt too much. They got Ward, Ufanga, Drake Greenlaw, all free agents. Maybe let all of them walk.
yeah, and I want to get to Gridiron Beauty's comment here. It says, "Hey guys, our secondary play with contested attitude," and I got to give a shout out to uh, Witherspoon, Othello Witherspoon. I thought played a great game. Coming in for Kobe Durant, I thought uh, um, the corner that they just got from the Commanders. I'm like, I'm not remembering his
Forbes,
name.
Emmanuel Forbes.
Yeah, Emmanuel Forbes. He was active. I thought he might get some run here, but Akilo Witherspoon played a great game, outstanding. I thought Cam Curl, had a good couple of good plays against Kittle. And then even Quinn Lake, I thought was really good in this game as well. But as we said, I mean, as much as I want to give the secondary a lot of the credit, there was a lot of drop balls because of the rain. So I have to be honest there because we saw with Juwan Jennings. I thought they did a great job in terms of scheme, though. I thought they did a great job in terms of how they played Juwan Jennings and the rest of the other receivers. So yeah, I do give them credit for that.
Yeah, on which I do want to give them credit too, but I think the 49ers also kicked themselves in the butt there a little bit with the drop passes. Man, that Debo drop there could have been a game changer. It would have definitely got a first down, put you in good position for a touchdown. It might even have been a touchdown on that play there if
Yeah,
you look at the field there. So you can't be talking on Twitter and saying I'm not struggling, and then people are telling you actually you are because you're dropping the ball, and he goes
yeah,
and drop it. So and also too, again, a lot of credit to the DBs. You could tell Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy really wanted to feed their guy. The week that he's yapping and talking about,
yeah,
give me the ball more here, is the week you get screwed over because you're forcing the scheme. You're overthinking it. You're not letting the flow and the game develop your way here. And he's just a luxury guy at this point. You can't be having 16 yards. He hasn't had more than 40 yards in a game receiving like in
yeah,
I don't know like a whole month here. So they try to put him in the backfield. Like, get out of the field, man. Gorendo's doing the job here. Why are you
yeah.
in the backfield, Debo? Jawan Jennings been doing the work here. George Kittle's been doing the work. Even Ricky Pearsall. So he's the odd man now. And I think that trying to feed him, that really played a factor here.
Yeah, and actually, like I give Chris Shula credit and the rest of that coaching staff on defense because I thought that he might get a breakout game, and they really tried to, but that also helped them prepare. Like, hey, they're gonna try to get him involved, and they took him away. Outside of like he said, the ESG said the diva was on his way to a touchdown.
He was thinking
So
about what to tweet, like, hey, I'm back, guys.
yes.
And
Yeah. See, I'm not struggling. And Steve on here says, when did Victor become such a hater? So there was great. Hey,
they
I'm
were
just
good.
pointing out
We got
the
some breaks, so I'm with Victor
yeah,
here, though, Steve.
yeah, yeah. All right, let's go back up to the top here. Willie Bowen says, I'm glad that the LA Rams won. I was counting the Rams getting touchdowns. Yeah, I think everybody was, especially with both of these teams scoring, having their season high in scoring last week. But it is a short week, so I kind of understand. And then also the elements there with the rain did also kind of mess things up. Dilbert Salgado says, we're pointing in the right direction. A lot of work to do, got some confidence and momentum, puros cuernos. So yeah, Delver's been positive. He had a little bit of a negative stretch there himself, just like us,
He
but
almost broke
he's
after the Philly game.
yeah, he almost broke there. Yeah, that was tough to see from Delbert. Gridiron Beauty says this game was good, hard fought. Credit to the second in this game. Good contested
Yeah.
balls. Yes, they did play well. Like I said, they did benefit from some drops there. We got our guy Henry Camacho back. It wasn't pretty, but with 4 days between games, it was to be expected when it counted. McVay's play calling came through. Kyron was a beast. Devo might played his way out of Santa Clara. Grow up.
Mm.
So,
They took
yeah,
him out of there for a bit in the
yeah.
fourth quarter, too.
Gridiron Beauties again says McVay, good game good game plan with wearing down the 49ers banged up defense. But I thought Greenlaw played really well. He had 10 tackles in the first half, but I think they were limiting his plays out there in the second half. It
I
sounded
think
like he would
he
have
has
been
to
no
come out, I think, at
yeah,
one point.
yeah. Michael Armenta says Rams got the dub. And so shout out to you, Gilbert. You not only called the Rams win, but you also called the under on this one. So shout out to you. I got this one as my best bet. So I got some points here as
I was
well.
hoping you wouldn't, but it's okay.
Yeah. Michael Armenta says, stick a fork in the 49ers. Yeah, it is going to be a long
They're
off
done.
season for the 49ers. Um, Great Iron Beauty says, credit the 49ers for throwing their aging defense with big playmakers, but McVay gave his defense rest with that long drive. Samuel was piss poor. Yeah, yeah, there was like you. There was a couple shots. I don't know if you saw in the game where the Rams were driving. I think on two of their drives, and they kept showing Purdy and Debo, and they looked like they weren't happy about what was
And
going on.
also, Debo, he was soaking with that drop for way too
Yeah,
long. I want to say George. I couldn't get the full view. The camera didn't show it too much, but I think George could have had a walk over and tell him, like, "Hey, dude, snap out of it. Like, we still got a bunch of football here." So,
yeah,
he gets in his head a little too much, and I don't know. Maybe it's a personal thing, but like Debo and Michael Parsons both have podcasts on Bleacher Report. Like, can we stop doing that when you're not winning
yeah,
games or you're not doing well? Maybe don't podcast. Let us do a little more. But I know that
yeah.
it's a different age, and athletes want to have their own platforms to speak, and that's good. But sometimes, yeah,
It just backfires. It just that's the
yeah, he's
thing
even
too.
being asked about Kyle Shanahan getting traded. Like, why do you want to talk about that? Like, you're
Yeah,
putting yourself in a tough position, and maybe those rumors will start picking up again, which I hate for Kyle Shanahan and in the 49ers. But it
yeah.
was a bad offensive performance today. But before we answer more comments, Vic, like just a big picture aspect, man, this is such a big victory for the Rams here to be 8-6 now. And then now pressure on Seattle, man. You better beat a good Packers team on Sunday
Oh
Night
yeah,
Football. Now the listeners and viewers of House of Horns get to kick back on Sunday Night Football, even all day on Sunday with
yeah.
a W. It's probably the best way to watch football, knowing that your team won, and then also you got to see the Packers come through there and beat them. So even if the Seahawks hold it down, you still got that one game at the end, the Week 18 matchup. Then now you got to play those terrible New York Jets. I want to say that's on the road, Victor,
Yep.
and it kind of reminds me of last year's New York trip
Yes.
where they had to beat the Giants. So
Yep.
uh, it's not a gimme, but you better win that one there. So it's a good spot for the Rams here, man. So we'll see what happens on Sunday Night Football. But again, just control your own destiny. You win out, you're in.
Yeah, and I mean now they're 7-2 since that 1-4 start. The other thing too is, I mean, it's been impressive the last 2 years when they've had to go on short rest. They've won all those games, Gilbert. Last season they did it. They swept on those on the Sunday and then the Thursday night game, and then they were 4-0 this season. I mean, that's pretty impressive doing that with the Raiders and then the Vikings and then the Bill. I think this one was out of those three, this one was the most impressive because I'm sure a lot of people had them losing before, even before the season. They had them losing to the Bills and then turning around on a short week
Oh
and
yeah.
losing to the 49ers. For them to go 2-0 in this what was it, 5-day period, that's impressive.
Yeah, I still have my issues with the offense being consistent. And I know a week ago everybody kept saying, "Watch out for this team; they're going to be dangerous." But I think for me, if you're able to find ways to adjust the scheme and identify how this game's going to be played, and say, you know what, that's what you want to play. Cool, we're versatile. We could do this way too. You want to play dirty or have low scoring game. You
Yeah.
want to be in a tough element. That's cool too. So sometimes that's better to me that you're versatile, you're able to adjust, and you have good coaching. So like I mentioned last week after the Bills Rams game, like I'd rather have Sean McVay than Sean McDermott because the little things like that matter with the coaching. And today, like you mentioned, McVay definitely put a whipping in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and I mean it's good to see because it was like a 4-year period there where it was just Kyle Shanahan just beating Sean McVay up and down, and so it until they got to the NFC title game, so a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean it's been pretty impressive in terms of what they, and I gotta say, no, and we'll get to it. Actually, I'm gonna save it. I wanted to talk about Josh Carty, but I'll wait on it. I want to get to these comments because people have been waiting here patiently to give their thoughts, and we really appreciate you guys giving us your feedback. That's one of the best things about doing this, especially when the Rams are winning. I know that when they were 1-4, not a lot of people were jumping on here. So we really appreciate it. Wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching this, thank you for doing that. Let's get back to it here. Gridiron Beauty says that ending sack was gutsy, but Purdy under pressure, he folds. Purdy track record with an interception, he has lost every game. So that's a good stat there. I didn't know that every time Purdy throws an interception, they lose a game this season. So that'll be something
Well,
to look
he's,
at.
he's done it at least in 8 games then because he was
Yeah.
6-8.
Yep. Daniel Calderon said, glad we ended the 49ers here. I think that's
That's
also the best thing. Yeah,
pretty sweet
honestly.
there. It's like the
Yeah.
icing on the cake.
Yeah, I mean, now they're yeah. ESG says after a game of scoring 7 touchdowns, they couldn't score one. That's a bit worrisome. So, yeah, I
I don't know
mean,
ESG. I think it shows your flexible versatility
yeah,
there, diverse offense. I'm okay with it. I don't see the
yeah.
negative side on
And
that one.
we're the negative ones here.
I
It's
know. Yeah.
ESG here bringing up this
You just beat the
comment.
Bills and the 49ers in a 5-game
Yeah,
span,
come
man.
on,
Come on.
ESG. Give us some positive stuff here. We're just kidding. Ground Beauty says 3 consecutive wins versus the 49ers and at Levi Nord no longer home field advantage. So
Mm.
yeah, that's
Yeah, they
also
were
good.
bullying the crap out of Debo. They're getting frustrated over
Oh yeah. I heard a couple of the come on, Debo. Like you can
there.
hear it on in the broadcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, not a lot of happy fans there up in Santa Clara with Debo Samuel. Delver Salgado says back in August, Shula's defense was a mystery, a lot of doubts, but he's really has it going. Kudos and honestly, shout out to Eric Williams. I know we keep bringing his name up, but we had him on for that interview because he did a article on Chris Shula and a lot of the things as we mentioned that I even asked him. I said, "Hey, have you been surprised by what you've seen from him?" And he's like, "No, I think at the beginning there with the struggles against Arizona, he was a little bit worried, but
Mm.
they got those 4 guys going in up front."
Yeah, there's some games where the defensive front is having some off days, and he's scheming his butt off to get the
Yeah.
linebackers on the secondary to do a nice job, bend don't break approach. But yeah, I think like I mentioned at the top of the show, I think Kobe Turner set the tone there defensively, and it wasn't like a big sack day total here, but when he's pushing the pocket, especially in the interior of the defensive line, that's always a good sign right there. So he definitely made his presence felt, and I still believe that he's the best player on that defensive line. I know Jared Verse kind of could gives you some good flashes every now and then. But that's a good conversation to have. Who's the best defensive player or defensive lineman on the Rams? I think it's Kobe Turner still.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, just the way he's able to take over games in the middle of that defensive tackle, like that's really impressive in terms like we thought he was going to be the one that got double team and he's been double team. There was one there where he had a chance for a sack and you could tell he was being held, but they didn't call a flag on there. So, but he just continues. He just continues him and Braden Fisk and shout out to Bobby Brown, man. That like when they get into those those rundowns in the first or second down, Bobby Brown is out there making sure to stop the run. So he's been huge as well. I know he's somebody that not a lot of people talk about, but Bobby Brown has been a really good defensive lineman when he's been in the game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's definitely good depth there. And then even guys like Omar Spates, man, stepping up. There was times where like they're going to show blitz, and he gets up there pretty close at the line of scrimmage to kind of at least put that in their mind.
Yeah, and one more thing in terms of Chris Shue, like he's done a good job of masking those linebackers so they don't get exposed. So I thought that's also been a really good thing to see because we saw that in the Eagles game. They got exposed big time, and when that happens, everybody sees it. And so they've been able to kind of mask them, be able to, not get overwhelmed with the run there. So
Well,
that
when
that's
Debo's
also
back there and he's running on third down, I think you're okay.
yeah. Gridiron Beauty says the offensive line being healthy is a key in these couple wins. I think Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua being healthy, plus that offensive line has also been huge. Gilbert.
Yeah, that was a good game to like that was a game where like you needed to be patient with the run. And the production wasn't there early on in the first half. You weren't getting the first downs, you weren't scoring points, but man, they were breaking down that older defense and obviously Drake Greenlight coming back for his first game in almost a year. You better run the football, man. Gas these guys out. Nick Bosa, first game in a month, I think, also too. So they were back together, but they weren't in sync. They didn't have chemistry. So the best way to kind of throw them off their game is by running the football. Maybe not enough Blake Corum, but he had some touches there too. So, yeah, that line was doing well. And I guess who would have thought that Bo Limmer and Avila playing guard is the way to go?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Kevin Dotson. I don't know if you saw the play, but during that 9 minute, 45 minute drive, there was a run with Kyron Williams where Kevin Dotson got to the second level and he threw two dudes out of the way. And I mean, I was just like, I even showed Megan, who doesn't know anything about football. I'm like, watch this guy and what he did to these two dudes. And he just threw them out of the way. It was really impressive. Number 69 out there. It
Yeah,
was,
it's
it
hard to
was,
miss. He has that giant helmet too. So
yes. Yeah. The protective gear on the helmet. So yeah, that was, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of offensive line, breakdowns. They're gonna go
oh
to
yeah.
that one. I'm sure if you see it on Twitter, wherever it is, or TikTok, you're gonna see him mauling those two
Yeah.
guys.
As long as you keep Havenstein and Jackson healthy
Yeah,
at the bookend tackles, I think you're gonna be fine.
yeah. I'm with you. ESG says the interception that Purdy threw was because he had a 6'5" guy in his face, and that was Kobe Turner, if I'm not mistaken. That's who got in his face.
There you go, making an impact without being in the stat
Yeah,
sheet too. So yeah, because I'm like, why do you throw that ball? So when you can't see clearly and you think Jennings is when you're comfortable with a player and you say, you know what, YOLO sometimes, that's how you get in trouble. So there you go, another effect how the way he affects the game.
yeah. Great Iron Beauty says 49ers have a bad offseason. So many high priced playmakers and Shanahan coaching status. I doubt they get rid of Kyle.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think they get rid of Kyle, but you definitely got to reinvent yourself. And like it's similar to what the Rams did in 2023. You know, they won the Super Bowl, and it's easier to kind of restart when you win the Super Bowl, and they didn't. So maybe there's something stubborn there. We're like, let's keep going, keep doing the same thing to finish the job here. So at some point, when you don't maybe like not making the playoffs, you look in the mirror and say, let's try something different.
Yeah, I'm with you. We talked about it in the preview. I think you have to keep him, and then you keep Shanahan, and then you just retool. You don't rebuild. You have enough talent here to where you can afford to get rid of. You keep the guys you really want, like the Bosa's, the Purdy's. I would keep Kittle because Kittle is
Oh
such a
yeah,
huge.
still good.
He's still good, but there's some guys there like Debo. We talked about Hargrave. I think those kind of
And
guys
why
are
they still?
gone.
I know CMC is great enough, but why keep paying him when you keep
Yeah.
seeing guys like Jordan Mason and Garando doing well? But they did pay him again.
By the way, shout out to Trent Williams, but and with what he's going through right now, but I just thought it was funny that they got the wrong guy when Kurt
Yeah.
Herbstreit was talking about about
The
him.
second I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be all over social media. That is not Trent Williams. And then they go to him the second time. Nobody admits their mistake. Nobody says, "Oh, we got it wrong. Here's Trent Williams." But whatever, move
Yeah.
on. Nothing to see here, apparently.
ESG says now we must cheer against the Commanders just in case we don't win the division.
Yeah, that's one of my sleeper teams, so I'm a little conflicted. But yes, they're actually half a game behind right now. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was telling Gilbert on our Four Compas show that this time last season there was three teams who were in the playoffs uh, at week 14. The Rams weren't one of those teams, and though three of those teams did not make the playoffs, and then the teams that were out of the playoffs at that time were the Rams, the Texans, and who was the third team? There was one more team that ended up making the playoffs that were not in the playoffs this time last season. So, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of time still in the next four games where some teams can make a run to
How
get
about
into
win
the
the
playoffs.
division at ESG? Be more confident, man. No, don't think
Yeah,
about the wild card.
yeah.
We're giving
ESG
ESG a
says
hard time.
bad weather games are almost a blessing because it forces McVay to run the ball. That is a really good
Good
point,
point.
ESG. Yeah.
You kind of had
Um,
to at that point.
Yeah, Willie Bowen is already looking. He says LA Rams should beat the crap out of the pathetic Jets. I don't think that's going to be. I'm telling you this right now. It's going to be a trap game, and it's going to be one of those where the same thing that we talked about last year with the Giants. It's going to be one of those games where you just hope you get out of there with the win.
Yeah, they beat New Orleans by a touchdown. They beat New England Patriots by 6 points. So it might be something like that, but just get out of New Jersey with a W and move on with your season.
Yeah, James Wheelock says I will take the win. Yes, take the win. Doesn't matter about the score. Um, and yes, I thought Debo was dwelling on that drop too
Oh
much.
yeah.
Yeah, that was huge. So all good things has a question here. 49ers Super Bowl window now officially closed.
It's tough for me to. I'm gonna kind of give you a political answer. The safe one is yes, but I think the 49ers could reinvent themselves and retool to be back in it, be back in it next year, but with a different kind of group and cast members. Like obviously, like I keep pointing back to the Rams and how they did it with from 2021 to 2023. different cast of characters, but some familiar faces. I could see that. But if they're still stubborn and trying to run it back, oh yeah, that thing is closed. Those same guys there, the old guys that we keep talking about, some of the free agents, some of the guys that get hurt a lot, so, guys like Debo Samuel that don't fit. If you keep doing running it back, it's definitely closed.
Yeah, especially if you try to do the Saints model where you just refuse to pay for, pay the credit card there, and then you just keep running that credit card. So, yeah, I'm with you. Like, you have to start reloading instead of, you don't have to rebuild if you're them, but yeah, like in terms of this core, I think their Super Bowl window has closed.
Yeah.
And yeah,
You
and
still see
then
the Purdy's, you see the Bosa, like you mentioned, and the kiddos, and that's about it,
yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, and that'll be the next core. I think the you. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. DJ Forno said, "Let's go, Ramilia." Not the most impressive win, but I won $100 and we swept the 40 Nenas. So, yes, yeah,
That's a good day.
yeah, that's a good day. James Willis said, "Yes, I can relax now and watch the red zone." So yeah, he's with you
The best kind
on
of
Sunday.
football.
That best kind of football. Yes, yes, I am also going to enjoy Sunday, just being able to just watch some of the other games. So it'll be good. DJ Fono says, "Been stressed all week, finally, and get to enjoy put two victories." So there you go. Him winning the game and then also winning $100. So that's pretty big. Great Iron Beauty says, like your shows because you guys have valid takes weekly and always with analysis, with play calling and schemes. Appreciate your knowledge.
Thank you. You're way too kind. Gridiron Beauties. I appreciate it. And maybe you could collab one day. That'd be great to do also.
Yeah, and we're always open to collabing. So, and thank you for the nice words there. We try to do our best. I know a lot of people at the beginning when they were 1-4 weren't happy. They were saying we were a bit too negative, but when they win, it's easier to be a little bit more positive. And so we try to do our best here with how they've been playing, especially now that they won what seven. They won 7 of their last 9 games. So it makes it easy for us to be able to just talk about what's going on and give you guys a real perspective. Gary Trujillo says Purdy has little hands, can't win in the rain. I did say that, Gilbert. I put in our group chat that it is a bit concerning with the fact that he does not play well in the rain. And the other thing is he played at Iowa State. You would think that he's been through bad weather games in the Big 12.
Yeah, it was one of those weird games, but I keep going back to the drop passes and the trying to make Debo Samuel a thing. So maybe it was just one of those games where, like, why don't you let the guy get in rhythm and then worry about Debo Samuel? It just wasn't the right approach all around, and that's why he threw a killer pick at the end.
Airborne Woodworks 173 says, "Let's go." So he's happy.
There
Welcome.
you go.
First time we've seen your name on here. So
No
welcome.
FG, right?
Yeah. Um, Delbert says, "We don't ever want a butt kicking that we got from the Eagles. I guess we learned." And I mean,
There you
yeah,
go. Maybe
yeah.
they're rock bottom. Maybe who knows?
Michael Armenta with he says, "Rams will win the remaining games heading for another showdown with the Lions." You read it here first.
Mm, that'd be
They
a good
match
one.
up well with the Lions. I'll say that. I know on our four compas we're gonna talk about what teams they don't the NFC team NFC playoff teams don't want to see. It'll be interesting to see who the
Yeah.
Lions don't want to see.
They
I
always
can
keep it close with the Rams. They've
yeah,
won, but they've
yeah,
gone to overtime the last 2 years, right? Or the last
yeah,
2 meetings.
yep. Yeah. The playoff went down to the final minute, and then the opening game
The
went into
overtime.
overtime when the Rams never got a chance to get the ball. Am I okay to share the Johnny G comment there?
Yeah, why not? He's done worse.
Yeah, Johnny G, sorry ass Niners. So Gridiron Beauty says, guys, do we run the table? Because after the Jets, it's 2 games. I believe we run the table and win the NFC West.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to, well, one. I think maybe that Cardinals game might be a little pesky because you do have that in the back of your mind where they whipped them in Arizona, and you're like, "Oh, okay, you got to get that bad game out of your mind, so you got to go do it to them in LA." That could be a little tough one, but then you also got to also get Seattle. But maybe you do have to run the table because I think the Seahawks team has definitely found this drive, but maybe you can afford one because you do play Seattle at the end, but you don't want to mess around. So maybe you do want to win out here.
Yeah, and I think that the big game is the Jets game. I think if you win that game, that puts you at 9-6, Gilbert. I think you just need to win one of the last two games, and then pretty much I think it guarantees you a playoff spot. I don't know if it wins you the NFC West because it all depends on what happens the next
Yeah,
2 weeks
might be
with
a
the
win out for NFC West and maybe one
yeah
loss for the wild card.
yeah.
But it
I'm
depends
with
also on
you.
the command. It depends on the Commanders tiebreaker because whether they have the same record. I think the Commanders might lose that Eagles game, and that's about it. But you never know in the NFL
Yeah, and if that's the case, wouldn't that yeah, they would be
because they didn't play
tied
each
if
other. So it might go off of NFC.
yeah,
Sorry,
divisional
conference,
opponent
conference,
records,
and all
yeah.
that.
Conference, yeah.
We're not there yet, and let's
We're
see.
not there yet,
Let's see
but,
if they get the West first.
AMS says, "When we get to the playoffs, do we have a solid number 2 wide receiver to win playoff games?" And
Yeah,
I guess Cooper Cup. But see, the thing is that the thing I love about Cooper Cup is that he's a great blocker, and in games like this is where you count. I mean, look at that touchdown against the Bills, the game-winning one by Puka Nakua. Cooper Cup laid out great block there. So him being unselfish, he's not gonna care about him. He's not gonna come out like Debo Samuel and say, "Hey, I went this game with no catches." He's gonna take the win, and that's all that matters to him.
yeah, no, it's a good point. Yeah, you could be a solid number two in different ways. Keep blocking, keep helping out with the motions and pre snaps. Trickeration that they usually have there. So, yeah, obviously you don't want to go 3 targets and no catches, so you want to step up. But again, this kind of game where it had to get a little dirty and a little slow pace and more physical, I'm okay with that because he's the one blocking out there and helping out Kyron Williams or Puka Nakua run the show. So, he is a type of player that he's okay with helping out the teammates here. So, I'm sure there's gonna be better games for him where he's more involved, but. Uh, it just wasn't one of those nights here. Maybe the New York Jets game is where you see more Cooper, more Demarcus Robinson, more Tutu, more Jordan Whittington, guys like that. And then also keep in mind Tyler Higbee might be back soon.
Yeah, well, his 21 days are up soon, so he should be back for that game. If not, they're
Yeah, he
gonna
gets another 10 days right here.
yeah. So there you go, which I thought was nice because I thought Parkinson had a big game in this one. He caught that pass that they needed to be able to clinch the win, which extended the drive there late in the game. Let me go fast here. Dano says, "I'm glad the goal line run with Stafford didn't hurt us." Sheesh. That
Yeah.
was pretty bad. Him getting hit, as you mentioned, that was huge. That was the other stat I forgot. He had two more quarterback sneaks in this game now. He's had, I think, six, I think, in the last 4 games. So, I mean, I don't know how long. I think he hadn't had one in his 2 years with the Rams, and now he has what, six in the last 4 games. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Then he also had I think a run early in the game where he
Yeah,
went
he
head
got hit in the head
first.
too.
And then
Yeah,
they're all the broadcast was saying, "Oh, good thing he didn't slide because he wouldn't have got the first down." I'm like, "Yeah, but he also got hit in the head. So,
yeah, that
what are we
was
doing here?" But yeah, he took too many hits to the head in that game.
when he got hit there. I thought he might go into the blue tent
Yeah.
because and I don't know how they go about choosing when they put players in the blue tent because I got a little nervous there for him because I was like, you do not want to take them out of this game right now when they're rolling, especially after getting that first down. I mean, although I think he's played every snap, we still haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo out there. He's just been walking around looking good out there.
Yeah, I totally forgot he's on the team playing his former team.
Yeah, the only reason I remember that is because I saw a video of him walking into Levi Stadium tonight, and they were like, "Oh, the best looking guy walking into the stadium tonight," and I'm just like, I guess everybody needs to see him here.
Yeah.
Uh, and Happy Gilmer said nail biting last seconds. Defense stepped up. Airborne Woodwork says we got the win. And then he says Airborne. DJ Fono says Airborne is my boy. He became a Rams fan this year. I gave him his first Rams jersey as a Rams welcoming to the Ramilia. And so that's pretty
Wow,
impressive.
look at that.
Good
DJ
on you.
Fono getting more people
Yeah,
to the Rams side of here.
that's awesome. Steve Vaughn says, listening to new additions, can you stand around? 49ers couldn't laugh out loud.
Good one there. I like that.
Yeah, Gridiron Beauty says collab would be good. Hit us up. Expecting a Corona weekend with Lime. So there you go. We'll go with the Modelo, but good. Yeah. Cheers to you and enjoy your weekend. We have Delbert Saga says, good show, compas. Appreciate you. Niners still dreaming of 1995.
Yeah, it's about to be
Yeah.
30 years, man. That's a long time for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, somebody was pointing out, it's like I know the Cowboys get a lot of crap for not winning a Super Bowl in since 1994.
Six? I think it wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think the Niners won in
Yeah,
96.
you might be right. No,
Yeah,
yeah, I forgot.
and then the Cowboys won in 95 because they
Yeah.
won 92, they won 91, 90. No, 91 was the Giants. So the
Yeah,
Cowboys won 92, 93, 94. Then it was the 40. Then I forget. It was right in there. But yeah.
yeah. I feel like the
Uh
49ers were the ones that prevented them from getting that 3 Super Bowls in a row.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it was 95. Yeah. I always get confused. It's been so long. I used to know all that. I know the Broncos won what, 97, 98.
Yeah, and I think the
Yeah.
Packers got 96. So,
Yeah.
I think the Niners won 94 season, but obviously the Super Bowl was 95, and
Right.
then the Cowboys
Couple of
beat the Steelers, I think, the year after
Yeah,
that.
95 with Barry
Yeah,
Switzer.
forget that. I was
Yeah.
wasting time here with history.
Yeah. Okay. All good things here says if the Rams do make it to the dance, what team would be the most favorable first team to face against? So
Ooh.
number one, we talked about this because we said if you want to get the 3 seed, right?
Yeah, yeah, there will be the 3 well, it's tough because the 3 will probably be Green Bay, and you already faced them once, but I guess who cares at that point? You get them back, you get them at home. Let's put it that way. You want the 3 you're gonna be, the 3 seed, get them at home, but then as you get the 4 seed, you also be at home, but then you have to face Minnesota, who I think Minnesota's a better team than Green Bay, but you've already beaten Minnesota, so,
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's a confidence, it's a mind factor thing, so, honestly, I think maybe 3 would be better. And then you kind of also avoid probably maybe Detroit for one more round, but I guess when do you
Yep.
want to face them? That's the other question too. So,
But
uh,
then you get the Eagles.
yeah, so it'll probably
Yeah.
be 2-3, and then 1-4. Well, I think Vikings would beat number 4, which would probably be the NFC South winner. So it could probably be
Yeah.
Minnesota facing the Lions in that second round, which would be also a good game. So these are all weird
Scenario.
scenarios, but I think definitely get the NFC West, and I think that winner will be the 3 seed. So it's starting to look like it'll probably be Green Bay.
Yeah. Yeah, that I think you're right there. But you want to get the 3rd seed. You want to make sure you win the NFC West because you play at home at SoFi, and we've seen that how good they've been. I don't think you want to see that. Then it's all about matchups, man, because that's what it is. Like we know that and it goes to Scarlet and Blue here. Rams would be a competitive in the playoffs against any team but the
Yeah.
Eagles. So
You were probably have to face the Eagles in the second round, but then hey, who knows? Maybe the Commanders beat the Eagles in that 2-7 because they know each other so well. You never know.
right. You just never know. I mean, we saw the Packers finally, I think, became the first team that came out of that 7 seed to beat
There you go.
they beat the Cowboys. So yeah, I mean, you just never know. That is true. DJ phone, I mean, Airborne Woodworks 176 DJ Phono put me on game
There
with
you
you
go.
guys.
Now he's
So
bringing people over to the show. I
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what we appreciate. That DJ Phono, appreciate you as well, Airborne. We really appreciate that. Gridiron Beauty says facts. We have a more legendary playmakers and exciting games in NFL history with offensive shootouts. Hoping Barkley doesn't get Dickerson's record. I think he will, though. Yeah, I think he's going to. Yeah, he's been on a run there, and I don't think they're gonna try to get the ball to AJ Brown. They're gonna they're gonna butter their bread with Barkley. So yeah,
They play
unfortunately,
Pittsburgh though. Steelers have a good defense. You never know.
it'll be interesting. Do you think they sit Barkley? or does he try to go for the record in week
Uh,
17 if they've clinched
Well,
their
I got yelled at on this show for saying sit Puka Nakua and not go for the record. So I'm
yeah,
never for chasing records. I'm all about health and staying healthy for the playoffs. So
yeah.
I will definitely sit Barkley if it comes to that. But I know they'll probably have him out there.
All right, last one here. Gilbert Scarlet and Blue says Rams have a hard time with running quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's difficult. But Jalen Hurts also can't really get the passing game going, so maybe you want that.
Yeah,
But again, I feel like these matchups are way too early. Don't be counting your money before you actually get the NFC West here. So
yeah.
handle business against the Jets there, then handle against the Cardinals, and then beat the Seahawks, and we can worry about that too.
Yeah, and we, as you know, one last comment here from Scarlet and Blue said their weaknesses at linebacker really shows against the Eagles, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
because they weren't able to mask it like they've been able to do the last couple of games. So, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen just played an unbelievable game last week, but in this game, they did a good job of masking those two
Yeah. The
linebackers.
entire NFC conference will be a tough match. Like, imagine having to deal with Justin Jefferson and Addison,
Yep.
and imagine having to deal with Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love, and then even a rookie Jaden Downs could be tough. I don't think they'll draw him in a matchup, but everything is pretty tough.
All right, Gilbert, give me your final thoughts here, and then we'll get to our 12-pack beer of the player of the game.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna stick to how Sean McVay was coaching this game plan. Obviously he could tell it's not gonna be their night pushing the ball down the field. Yeah, they got that one big play in the second half to get going with Puka Nakua, but that was about it. Everything was pretty short. Kill the clock. You highlighted that third quarter touchdown drive with 17 plays, killing almost 10 minutes off the clock. That was beautiful. You want to do that, and also didn't allow Brock Purdy to get a rhythm and Kyle Shanahan with the play calling on their side. They also got an older defense tired that was playing their first game in a long time, like Bosa and Dre Greenlaw. So that quarter, that drive was a pretty great for the Rams, and they do it again in the 4 minute drill to kill more clock there. So uh, I think that was great. And then also obviously speaking of coaching, Chris Shula, they bailed out the offense in the first half. They kept it close also in the second half, and then they got the pretty much like I thought the game winning play was an interception. So all around Shula, McVay, special teams too. It's a Chase Blackburn, the special teams coordinator.
Yes.
Joshua Carty getting all the points there. All three of them did a great job.
Yeah, I was gonna just say I think you can feel good about the Rams going forward now in terms of them being able to play any kind of or any style of game now and be able to win. And I think that's what you need, especially in the playoffs. Like this kind of game is a kind of game. I know it's a divisional game, but it was a game that you needed because you're gonna play in bad weather and you need to start getting used to those kind of games if you're having to go on the road in case you don't win the NFC West and you don't get to play at home, you need these kind of tests, especially against a really good team who, has had your number for a number of years now, and now you're 3-0 against them. And I think the last thing is you swept the 49ers. I get it, they were a bit injured, but you did it. Like that's all that matters. They've been a team, you've heard you've heard from 49er fans who take over your stadium every year how, that you have whatever Levi, South or whatever they call it. And to be able to do this and be able to, put your chest out there as a Rams fan, it has to feel good because you haven't been able to feel this way, especially under the McVay in the McVay area. To be able to sweep the 49ers, you can talk all your trash now for the rest of this offseason, no matter what happens with the Rams season the rest of the way. And so also to kind of put a fork in the 49ers in ending their Super Bowl window as well. It's got to feel really good if you're a Rams fan. So enjoy this win this weekend because you'll have you can talk your smack the rest of the off season. And whenever a 49er fans tells you something, just say, hey, we have a Super Bowl and we swept you guys. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rams are played a big role why this core group probably didn't get a Super Bowl. They beat them in the NFC title game in 2021. If the 49ers would have won, they would have played the Bengals in the Super Bowl because they
Yeah.
can't beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, so they could have maybe drawn the
Yeah.
Bengals and maybe closed the deal. So there's many ways here where the Rams screwed over the 49ers. Super Bowl window here. So take the lap here, take a victory lap here, Rams fans. It was your night.
Yep. And then last thing here, who gets your 12 pack of beer player of the game, Gilbert?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kobe Turner. Set the tone pretty early. Got the sack there. Pushed the pocket, moved it around. Disruptor. What does it go by? The Condor. So
No, the conductor.
conductor or whatever. Or the Condor is Max Crosby, but yeah,
Yeah.
conductor, something there. But I prefer disruptor. He really set the tone there, and I think he wrecked the game plan. The 49ers there because yeah, they wanted to get Debo involved, and they just said, no, it's not gonna work here. So Kobe Turner, have yourself a 12 pack there and Modelos on me, and yeah, keep practicing that beautiful voice that you have.
Yeah, especially after being on the Mass Singer, that was pretty cool to see. And then also doing the national anthem at all the games here in LA, whether it's the Lakers or the Kings. I don't know if he's done it at Dodger Stadium. That'll be something that the Rams need to set up because that'll be kind of cool to see Kobe Turner out there at Dodger Stadium. But for me, it's Joshua Cardi. Four field goals. He does it right down the road. He went to school at Stanford, as I talked about in our preview show, and I thought, he's really struggled. I said, hey, you're gonna need Josh Cardi later on in the season. He came through for them in this game, and it's just a good, just a good boost of confidence for him going forward. I thought McVay might get aggressive and try to go for it on fourth down, but he trusted his young kicker here, and it's good. It'll build his confidence going forward. Like I said, these kind of games help, especially in these type of weather. Him being able to kick the ball in this type of weather will also help. Especially, I'm telling you, he's going to be needed against the Jets next week. In that in that environment in New York or New Jersey, I guess. So yeah, he gets a my 12 pack of beer of the game because he was the reason why they won this game with his four field goals.
Yeah, you got to give it to that guy. He scored all the points of
Yeah,
the game there for the Rams, and yeah, when you make decisions like that where you're going to rely on the kicker, you better come through. And Sean McVay, luckily, his kicker came through. The rookie there, Joshua Cardi, and yeah, and I give credit to McVay because I thought he had a good pulse on the game. He knew kind of what's going to be a good script here, so I was okay with playing a little more conservative than usual. So you better back him up, kicker, and he did.
yeah. And then a couple comments here. Our friend Alonso says, "I'm heated, guys,"
Yeah.
but good show, he says.
Yeah, Alonso, I don't know how you feel on Brock Purdy, but you guys have a dilemma there: pay him or not
Yeah.
pay him.
Yep, that'll be quite the offseason there for the 49ers. But all right, Gilbert, a good show. We went almost an hour here. It was good to have you on here. You didn't have a story to do today, so that was awesome. And all our viewers and listeners got to enjoy this. So thank you guys again, wherever you're watching us. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I try to get through all the comments. So just as a thank you to you guys. So hit the like button, subscribe, just be like DJ Fono and let
Yeah,
other people know about what we're doing here. We really enjoy doing this. Um, it, just to let people know, next week Fernando will join me again to preview the Jets game, but you will be back, Gilbert, for the Sunday game, Sunday afternoon when we do the post game show. So no Gilbert next week, but we'll have Fernando on with us on Wednesday. So make sure you join us then for the preview of Rams Jets.
yeah. So I was worried that maybe I'm bad luck here. So when Fernando was on, they had a big time victory and beat the Bills. But then when I came back, the Rams beat the 49ers. So no bad luck here. It's just good vibes, and I'm sure everybody here for the Rams side are definitely enjoying the victory. Now
Yeah.
Alonso. I don't know about Marathon Stacker. Said Debo Samuel's an absolute clown. Dude dropped a wide open touchdown tonight and complained all week about not getting the ball to the media. So that could be either a Rams fan or a 49ers fan. I'm going to say 49ers
I,
fan because Marathon Stacker is extra heated about that one.
yes.
So, yeah, Debo Samuel, it was not a good night. So it pretty much changed the game there. So, yeah, a lot of things that the 49ers need to address in the offseason, and now they got a head start. So a little shot there for the 49ers. But yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. It's been an hour, Vic.
Yeah, go ahead and close us out, Gilbert.
Yeah, so appreciate everybody again being on here. And if you're a 49ers fan, hopefully you enjoyed the breakdown. We were trying to get to both sides. So if you enjoyed it, do us a favor, like and then subscribe, because the Rams and the 49ers play each other twice a year. So maybe you'll come back every twice a year in the fall. But also follow DJ Fono's lead. Be a compa, tell a compa about compas on the beat and about House of Horns here. So a lot going on here on the network, but it's time to get going. Enjoy the Sunday games after a victory. If you're a Rams supporter, enjoy the Sunday games. If you're not a Rams supporter, if you're a 49ers fan, there'll be better days. But it's time to get going. Ya nos vamos. Pues vámonos.